Signora is alive, she is not yet dead, and we will likely see her in the future. It's a bit surprising, right? Well, I have several evidences to prove this, that she is alive and she will become more powerful in the future. So yeah, I have written a long theory about this. So you have to watch this video till the end to find out that why she is alive and how can she be resurrected in the future. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed our channel yet, subscribe it now, and now let's start. Okay, so as we know, Signora was executed in Inazuma after losing a duel to Raiden Shogun, and the rest of the Harbingers had a funeral for her. So for sure she is dead, right? Well, she's not. From what I have gathered, a lot of details and things related to Signora symbolizes resurrection. Number 1, being the 8th Harbinger, the number 8 in the Bible has a strong connection to rebirth, meaning a new order or creation or born again. Number 2, in Hoyo's other game, Honkai Impact 3D, the Fire Moth was an organization from the previous era before being wiped out. They already had a strong theme to resurrection. And number 3, Signora was the Crimson Witch of Flame, who was already liquid fire and had up till now lived for a long time. Although she did need a cryo delusion to maintain her form, or else she would have died. Okay, so now moving on to Natlan, the nation of Pyro. Given that Natlan is based off mostly Amerindian cultures such as Mesoamerican with a mixture of African culture as well. So is there anything from Mesoamerican culture that could point out to Signora's resurrection in the region? Well, there's quite a bit. Depending on the region, in the Native American mythologies, particularly Mesoamerican, moths and butterflies strongly symbolizes rebirth, change, transformation, resurrection, and the power of regeneration. From what I gathered online, some California Indians consider moths a symbol of transformation, healing, and prayer. Another is with the Navajo, where the concept of Ixia, which is sometimes represented by a moth and is a symbol of love, temptation, and foolishness. And most important here, in Aztec culture, moths are sometimes called Misa something, which you can see on the screen. It means butterfly of death and sign as such. While butterflies are associated with warriors, fire, fertility, death, and rebirth, and guess what? Butterflies. Signora. I think you're getting my point. In Aztec mythology, there is a figure called It's something. You can see on the screen, I can't spell that. Who was a death goddess and the ruler of Tamao-chan and queen of something which starts from T. I can't spell this too. You can see on the screen. She is also associated with moths and sometimes with birds and fire. However, she primarily appears in the form of Obsidian butterfly. The title of the Natlan's chapter is Ode to Resurrection, which implies to the theme of resurrection is going to play a role in the nation. So it's that simple, right? Signora will be resurrected in Natlan due to her thematic traits and cultural connections between moths and Mesoamerican culture. Well, sadly, there's one problem with the idea of Signora being resurrected in Natlan: the lack of connection between Signora and Natlan. In her lore, Signora, or Rosaline, was from Mondstadt before going to Sumeru to study. After she returned, she discovered her lover Dostum died during the cataclysm. So Rosaline became the Crimson Witch of Flame before joining the Fatui as the 8th Harbinger. The problem here is that Signora lacks any connection to Natlan. The only seemingly connection is that she has elemental of Pyro and her whole moth motif, and how moths relate to Amerindian cultures to which Natlan is based on. However, these connections are just grasping at straws. The moth motif is at best coincidental and at worst superficial. It's apophenia, where we are seeing connections where there are none. Other cultures have something related to moths, like how Japanese view moths' souls traveling to the afterlife, or in Wicca. Sometimes they just have a connection to the moon, or in the Bible, moths represent the temporary nature of life. While moths do play an important symbol in Amerindian cultures, to which some of Natlan is based on, it's indecisive of a guarantee that Signora is resurrecting in Natlan. It's just a speculation. If Signora were to be resurrected, I would like to say it in Mondstadt, the place of her origin, or Sneznaya. Natlan, while having the theme of resurrection, doesn't mean Signora is going to be involved. So that's it, right? Signora has no relationship to Natlan. Well, it is. So if I were to believe that Signora would be resurrected in Natlan, how would that be? I do have some ideas based off the information I've gathered. First is a Fatui plot. Probably an obvious and boring answer. One of the Harbingers deteriorate does something experimenting and resurrects Signora. Problem with this idea is that most of the Harbingers seem to accept that Signora is dead, having had her funeral. Number 2. Rebirth of Signora. From above, remember that it's something you can see on the screen. An idea I had is that Signora is going to reborn as this godlike figure, possibly becoming divine, like Scaramouche, the moth becoming a butterfly. It could possibly a part of previously mentioned Fatui plot. However, going down to this option possibly means that Signora we know and some love would be completely gone, possibly. However, take this all with the largest bucket of salt, as I'm just making stuff up. It makes no narrative sense whatsoever for her to come back in Natlan, as she has no connection to Natlan whatsoever, nor does it make sense for her to come back otherwise. But what was the conclusion? So would I want Signora to come back? Yes, of course yes. I found her backstory underutilized and would like to know more of her character. Does that mean she's coming back in Natlan? Probably yes or no, as I don't see any feasible way for her to come back without making it something big. But what do you guys think? Do you want to see Signora come back or not? And who is your favorite Fatui Harbinger? Comment down your answers below and I will see you in the next one.